Hello everyone, and welcome back. As of now, we are going to talk about none other than Pinhead, the main antagonist of the Hellraiser franchise. By far one of the most iconic slasher villains created, as well as one of the most tragic, Pinhead is the perfect embodiment of the concept that pain equals pleasure, and in this episode we are going to analyze all that we know about him throughout only the first four movies of the franchise, specifically Hellraiser, Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, and Hellraiser 4, Bloodline, as I view the first four movies as the most essential ones to Pinhead and his story, as well as the end of it, so we can better understand him and his journey from a traumatized soldier who wanted to feel something to the iconic interdimensional demonic priest he has ultimately become. And now, let's begin. Pinhead started out as a British man named Elliot Spencer, born in England in the late 19th century, and all that we know about him is the fact that he was the captain of the British Expeditionary Forces during World War One, a war that left him completely traumatized and distorted with reality, as he believed that God abandoned him and humanity. And so he traveled across the world hoping to find and feel something, and he did find something indeed. As in the British India in 1921, he officially managed to purchase the Lament Configuration Box, a box that connects the Earth with the labyrinth of Hell, and when Elliot sold the box, he was dragged to Hell where he was tortured and thus turned into Pinhead, the leader of the Cenobites and the primary servant of the Leviathan, who will obey its orders and will torture or transform into Cenobite anyone who opens the box. As he eventually kidnapped and killed many people, and at least three of them have become Cenobites. And now, by 1987, his latest victim, a man named Frank, who opened the box and was dragged into hell, but he proceeds to escape back on Earth and absorb the life force of other people, including his own twin brother. And so, his niece officially managed to solve the box and officially decide to make a deal with her, in which she will give Frank back to them in exchange for her own freedom. And the deal was done. Well, more or less. But eventually she managed to escape from the whole ordeal, an ordeal in which she was left completely traumatized, and 1 year later now, by 1988, Pinhead officially came back. As a psychologist known as Philip Channard threatened to conquer hell himself by the fact that he became a Cenobite and nearly destroyed Pinhead in the process. But of course, thankfully Philip has failed. The balance between hell and earth still remain the same. However, he eventually this defeat ultimately caused both Pinhead and Elliot to split into two beings, with Elliot being put into a limbo that resembles a World War One battleground, while Pinhead was separated and eventually managed to arrive on Earth. And now, free from Elliot's morality, as well as the rules of the Leviathan, Pinhead vowed to conquer the Earth itself, and by 1992 he proceeds to free himself, and attempted to do so as well. But thankfully he was defeated and managed to be brought back with Elliot and become the Pinhead that we all know. Eventually, by 1997, he tried to kill the latest descendant of John Marchant, the very man who created the Lament configuration box centuries prior, but thankfully he has failed and that bloodline still exists. And now, before we continue, we all should stop and ask ourselves, is Pinhead evil? And the reason why I'm asking this is while it's undeniable that he himself is a force of evil, he didn't become evil out of his own choice, given the fact that he was a man who suffered immense trauma back in his human life, and he was dragged into hell against his own will, not to mention that he never wanted to be Pinhead, he only just wanted to feel something and to feel alive once more. In other words, Elliot Spencer never has to be evil, not to mention that even as Pinhead he is not necessarily evil in the sense that he does things for the sake of it. He is simply evil because he only obeys the rules of the Leviathan and the box. He was bound by them, and the reason why he went rogue in the third movie is because he was splintered from Elliot Spencer, the original personality. Not to mention that he is definitely one of the most tragic horror villains created, and the most tragic horror villain I analyzed is Jason Voorhees. Not to mention, and thus we can all say for sure that the answer is both yes and no. Yes, what he's doing is evil, but no, because he himself is not necessarily evil. And now, by the year 2127, Pinhead come back this time on a space station in order to kill another distant descendant of John Marchant. But thankfully he has failed, he has been tricked, and his Cenobites are officially destroyed, ending his reign of terror once and for all. So in the end, who was Pinhead? He was nothing more but a deeply traumatized and troubled man who just tried to feel something and to make him to feel alive. A man that will ultimately become a monster out of his own will and be forced into a life of torment and misery. A man that could easily be called by many as one of the most tragic villains made in the horror genre. And thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to give a like, share and subscribe, and have a nice day.
We have such sights to show you.